G'day viewers, welcome to another weekend edition of TFU.
G'day viewers, how you going? It is actually me, Aussie.
Look who's resurrected, and in a number of ways, as in looks slightly less like a homeless man now, slightly more like a criminal.
Yeah.
But
swings and roundabouts.
Wasn't that well on Friday, so didn't shoot, and lo and behold, on Easter Sunday, he is risen. He is among us, and spreading the word, I might say.
And I don't want to point fingers, but yeah, I've got some rivals in this camp. And,
The old rising from the dead thing.
Yeah. I don't want to cast aspersions or throw shit on the
Lesser.
old guy. But some of us have done this 5 times.
Yeah. Some people build a whole religion around doing it once.
One time. Yeah.
Some people do it 5 times. A bit more modest, is what we're saying.
Maintain jobs, maintain education, are pleasant to women.
Not wandering
Do not
around the
attack
countryside,
gays.
just sponging.
Yeah. It's not.
Okay.
No, let's not get,
there may be one thing you have in common.
yeah, it's going to get weird about no 2.
Yeah.
And beyond that, no. But I'm just saying, the zombie population deserves respect, and if you're going to respect one zombie for one pissy little thing, then I'd like a holiday too.
Yeah.
You
Look,
know?
let's get on with spreading the word. And,
Should have sex in it.
well, that's one thing we could spread.
With anyone you want, as long as they're consenting and over age.
Yeah.
There should be drugs too. My holiday's going to be better.
We're talking old school bacchanal, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the bands will be awesome too.
Yeah. So
My
look
Minister
for that.
Information's going to help pick them.
Enlightenment and truth.
Mm-hmm.
Persuasion and justice.
That's what it is.
Fuck your shit up if you cross us. That's
That's
what
what we're talking
saying.
about.
But let's get back to spreading our gospel, okay?
Yeah.
Jesus, who haven't we offended? We will have offended anyone who's not been offended yet by the end of the video.
Actually, yeah, no, we worked it out.
We actually worked this out. But look, this week's spot check, how big a fuckwit is Tony Abbott being this week? 2 really disturbing headlines I saw this week. One, Australian scientists forced to resort to pseudo-science to be taken seriously by the Abbott government. It's because the Abbott government has been cutting science funding, research funding, education. What could possibly go wrong, right? Huh?
In fact, science is for pufters in the city.
So the chief scientist presented a report saying the whole economy has an underpinning of science that you should support. And they had to use economic modelling, which is not a real thing.
No,
It's
not.
imaginary. It's a pseudo. It's flattering to call it a pseudo-science.
There are witch doctors in darkest jungles of Africa who hear about economics and go, "Oh, don't play with that, Prunus.
Yeah.
That's some bad shit, dude. No, that's just ripping off the customer.
Yeah.
That's not." We throw bones and crap around and look at elephants and go, "Oh, the future," but these guys are really dirty.
So that's how you make headway with this government. Not by having some of the best scientific research in the world, which we do, but by saying,
Well, yes,
oh look, we chucked it all into a spreadsheet and got an economist to tweak some numbers. There you go.
Economist? Did you say economist? He said economist.
He said economist.
It's got algorithms and mathematics in it. It must be raw. Because I've seen this thing on the side of Azie's cock and it had an algorithm on it. Then he washed it off and it was just a dick.
Which is, again, possibly an analogy for this government. And also the other headline about Tony Abbott this week, an international news publication saying about, world's worst climate villain talks about how to do... And, yeah, that's Abbott. That's how he's seen internationally as the worst. He's already been cited as the biggest failure of any elected leader of an industrialised nation, just from his inability to get any of these policies passed and be hated by most of the population.
By the way, our economy is tanking. Just thought I'd let you know.
And now it's just shorthand. The worst in the world for damaging the environment and likely killing us all long term with climate change. Tony Abbott, go Team Australia!
Go Team Australia! I am so proud of knowing that overseas my Smurf alert leaders are showing me in my best light. I like coal and I hate niggers.
Yeah.
And that's what Tones is all about.
Speaking of, one of the prime outcomes of his policy and scaremongering, a group had some rallies this weekend they call Reclaim Australia.
Climate. Climate.
Not, as you might think, Indigenous people saying rent's due.
Hang on. What?
No, it wasn't them. Wasn't them. It was
the actual owners.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
right.
no. It was just people who already control all public discourse and business and whatnot, saying
Self-entitled white
there is in our pea-sized brains, the fear centres have been turned up to 200 by the government and the media, and we foresee a tiny possibility of us having less than 100% control over everything at some point.
I will lose my mind.
So therefore, reclaim Australia.
Reclaim.
And then there were the counter anti-racism demonstrations. Got a bit feisty, particularly in Melbourne. But it's like, oh, but surely these people, these Reclaim Australia, their heart's in the right place.
Their heart's in the right place. It's right down there near the Tockley.
Yeah. All you need to know about these people is they had to put out an official directive on their gathering site to say, don't bring swastikas and white supremacy slogans.
And you know at that meeting there were kids down the back going, oh, you know that was real.
And that was it. They actually had to categorically say, no, don't bring the swastikas.
Don't.
And there were still the dudes with the shaven heads and the swastika tattoos on their skulls.
But Monica said it was all right because it was there previous to the ruling, and I've been grandfathered, so it's okay. No, you look like a dick. Tones, you look like a dick. No, it's good. Now put a freaking hat on. No, I'm allergic to hats.
And apparently their whole thing with signage didn't extend to use some common sense, like don't have one sign saying, I'm for freedom, next to, I'm for telling brown people what they can't do. Because freedom tends to not be free if people aren't equal. Like saying, I want freedom, through to ban the burqa, ban mosques, is like, well, you could say is ironic, or you could say is fucking bullshit as well.
You know that the guy that had to run around all the sign holders and going, Tones, other way up, mate. Yeah. Monica, put it facing out. The sign's got to look at me. Good on you, darling. Yeah. And he had to run around, and he didn't have time to do the irony of, I want freedom, ban the burqa. That's not going to work. Oh, no. Okay, we're only here for now.
Limited resources. That was the problem, I think. And a good example of their limited resources is they let a guy, well, I think infiltrate is the only word to say what happened. He's like, we're going to give this bloke now control of our Twitter feed as we start our rally day. And this dude just started posting the loosest, stonerish stuff about, man, I shouldn't have ripped so many bongs last night. I don't know if I'm going to make it. And then he's like, what's all this anger about? Isn't this halal thing? Isn't that just like kosher? Jesus, why all the hate, fellas? I thought we were just saying we liked Australia, not we hated other people. And he's like, fuck this, I'm going to the park and get drunk. And this went on for most of the day. Gorgeous. And it's just like, oh my God, that's like just, you got blindsided by that, guys. That was like mega trolling right there.
Hardcore.
That guy hung around the whole build-up just to get control of the Twitter feed and do this, which, thumbs up to you, buddy, because the rest of them are out there protesting something that's not actually happening.
Which is always the interesting bit for me, that it wasn't there. You know, I'm going to kill monsters. There's no monsters. I'm going to kill them, but...
And the whole no Sharia law. I start to feel they're saying that. No Sharia law in Australia, so they can feel like they achieved something like a year down the track. So, Bruce, is there any Sharia law in Australia?
No, Malcolm, there is no Sharia law in Australia.
That's down to our vigilance.
Our vigilance, mate. We've got your back. When you Sharia law's poking its ugly fucking head over in New Zealand, we're there on the western side of Australia, looking at the sunrise, going, I have seen the boaties and I've got my spear ready.
Yeah, if your big contribution is to protest something that isn't happening, maybe reassess your priorities.
Yeah. I don't know, though, because it's a good win and you get paid for fuck all, much like most of Telstra.
you could be someone who protests something that's worth protesting. I mean, like the Swedish Foreign Minister, who recently was going to present a speech that had a bit in it as a Saudi Arabia. They're kind of shit, aren't they?
Which is an interesting thing when you're going overseas. G'day guys, how you going? You're all fucked.
See, Sweden is the only country in Europe that formally recognised Palestine as a state. Big thumbs up from the Arab League for doing that. We invite you to give a speech at our next big shindig. Okay, here's my speech. Wait, why did you call Saudi Arabia a dictatorship that inflicts harsh punishment on people?
Well,
because it's a dictatorship that imposes harsh punishment on... No, that's anti-Islam. And this is one of the states where I actually agree with the person who's saying, and her apology as well, I apologise if anyone thought I was insulting Islam. I was just saying Saudi Arabia is kind of shit. And some people have gone, well, they have Sharia law, a really harsh interpretation of it. So by criticising them and criticising Islam, she's going, no, I actually just said their human rights record is shit and they should work on it. Go for it. And I've said this a few times, why don't Western leaders speak out against Saudi Arabia? It's like, well, oil.
Yeah,
and
oil.
in fact, in Sweden, there was one more complicator. They are an arms exporter.
Really?
Yeah.
But aren't they a neutral country?
Yeah, they give guns to everyone. And they export over $1 billion US. I think it's like 1.3 billion US each year to Saudi Arabia. And that was thrown. So, Foreign Minister says, you're all kind of shit there, aren't you?
Minister Defence would like to talk to you. Elsa Treasury, chat with us.
Yeah. And all the business leaders in Sweden go, look, I know often we say stuff about saying, we should tell the Muslims to be a bit more progressive, but not if it affects our income, okay?
That's that thing. Yeah, we are a % of your GDP. Can you not?
Yeah.
Can you not shit in the dog dish? It's a thing. You know, but the dog dish is being eaten out of by dragons. Cool. It's not here, is it? It's not here, is it?
No, it's and this is the thing. Someone finally speaks out, and you soon see what actually drives governments and businesses around the world.
Yes,
soon as they can lose something, they back right off. And it's like, not like, you know, we can pick shitheads from everywhere. Like Cardinal Raymond Burke, an American cardinal, Catholic cardinal, was at one point the most senior lawyer in the Vatican's court system.
He sounds like a nice man.
Yeah, he had that job right up to the point he said the current Pope was a shithead. And the Pope said, yeah, I'm also the boss. You're out of a job. And he's been demoted and marginalised. And you would think at that point,
you shut the fuck up.
You might stop talking so much shit.
You know, like, believe you me, myself and Angry have a policy that we try and give to people. When you're in the back of the paddy wagon, stop calling the coppers cunts. Stop doing that. Especially when no one can see you. It's a thing. Now, the thing about the nature of power is that it doesn't actually change very much. You know, you can be in the back of a paddy wagon or sitting in the timeout room of the Curia and the Pope walks in, like, imagine Good, the Bad, the Ugly whistling starting.
Yeah. So, what good old Cardinal Burke has said recently, like, okay, it's not a huge surprise if someone from the Catholic Church speaks against gay marriage, because it's fairly obvious they're against it. But what a lot of people don't realise is that extends to divorced heterosexual people too.
Oh, yes.
If you're divorced, you're not allowed to remarry unless your previous marriage gets annulled. And there's a whole bunch of rules around that. It can be quite difficult to do. So what Cardinal Burke has actually said, when an interviewer said to him, but, you know, surely, you know, a gay person or a divorced person who leads a good life is a good person.
Surely.
And he said, that's the same as saying a murderer's okay if he's nice to all the people he doesn't murder. So he has straight up said gays and divorced people are morally exactly the same as murderers.
Can I just point out, thanks, big guy. Appreciate it. I had a haircut and a shave for you and everything. Whatever.
And that's the thing. Some people have tried to marginalise him. He's on the extreme right of the Catholic Church.
Yes, he is.
But that is actual official Catholic doctrine. If you're divorced, you can't accept sacraments unless your marriage was annulled or unless you are celibate. Same thing, you can be gay and a Catholic so long as you're celibate. You're never allowed to actually have sex. What Burke has said...
Kind of wipes out your membership card. Just saying.
Yeah. Burke has said sticking a knife in someone, same as sticking your dick in someone.
And that's very telling, you know, because you've got a lot of those kinds of attitudes within the Catholic Church, and I think if they reassessed the whole actions of the knife and the sex act, then maybe things would be a bit different.
Yeah.
You're basically getting kids who are 15 being put into seminary, have no experiences, and then by the time they're 25, expected to tell whole communities how to run their family. Interesting thought.
Yeah. Look, let's round off with an actual hero, someone who spoke out in a tough situation, didn't seem to care. He's 16. His name's Amos Yee. He's in Singapore, which I'm about to add to the list of countries I can't go to.
We keep going.
There's
I'm
a
allowed to
few.
go.
Saudi Arabia was already on there. Singapore, because if you speak out against the government, you can be jailed. What young Amos said at the passing of Lee Kuan Yew, like the founder of the modern totalitarian state of Singapore, he actually posted a YouTube video that said, "Yay, he's finally dead. He's a bastard," and people only say good things because they're scared of what would happen if they say bad things. Like you'll get arrested and now be staring down the barrel of a couple years in jail for just saying, "I didn't like the guy." It's one thing of saying, okay, Lee Kuan Yew is a shithead, I think we should go and burn down his house and kill all his family members. See, bad. Not acceptable.
Don't do that.
Not acceptable. Inciting to violence or criminality, but just getting in trouble for saying, wow, that guy's an arsehole.
Quickly send in the army, arrest him and find his family, surveil everything and touch him in the bad touch way because I'm not happy because I am in total control.
Yeah.
Well, you don't. Why do you need to do that? Why do you need to Bond villain every fucking thing you've got in Asia?
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
So yeah, and bring it back to our original point, like the Reclaim Australia fucking losers. Seriously, if you want to actually protest something worth protesting, step up against people who fucking have power and can do something back to you, then you're fighting for freedom. Until then, you're just jerking yourself off.